Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you thought life would stop without them, only to be rejected, left behind, and forced to build yourself back up from nothing? And then, years later, fate brings that same person back into your life, but in a way you never expected. This is the story of Armaan, a man whose heart was once shattered by rejection, and how a single encounter at a crowded train station changed not just his destiny, but the destiny of the very girl who once walked away from him. Stay with this story till the end. You won't just witness a tale of heartbreak and fate, but of forgiveness, humanity, and second chances that life sometimes hides in the most unexpected places. Armaan was in his early 20s when he first met Meher. She wasn't just another girl to him, she was his world. They studied in the same college, and though Armaan came from a middle-class family, he carried himself with dignity and determination. Meher, on the other hand, belonged to a well-off household. She had beauty, charm, and confidence that drew attention wherever she went. Armaan was shy at first, but his feelings for her grew stronger with every passing day. He admired her not just for her looks but for the kindness she often showed to others. For months, he kept his emotions buried, believing she was out of his league. But one evening, after college, when the sun dipped low and painted the sky orange, Armaan finally gathered the courage to confess. With trembling hands and a hopeful heart, he told Meher how deeply he loved her, how he dreamed of a future where they could build a life together. He promised that though he wasn't rich, he would work hard to give her every happiness. But Meher's response pierced his soul. She smiled faintly, shook her head, and said softly, "Armaan, you're a good man. But I want more from life, more than love. I want comfort, luxury, and security. I can't build my dreams with someone who doesn't already have them." Her words shattered him. Armaan walked away that day, heartbroken, humiliated, and vowing never to let love weaken him again. He buried himself in his career, pushing past every obstacle, every sleepless night, every failure, until he became a man of success. Years passed, and he grew into a respected entrepreneur. But no matter how much he achieved, there was always a quiet ache in his heart, a shadow of the rejection that once broke him. And then, one stormy evening at a bustling train station, fate tested him again. The train station buzzed with chaos that evening. Hawkers shouted about peanuts and tea, children tugged at their mothers' saris, and the metallic screech of a train's brakes echoed in the air. Armaan adjusted his coat, pulling his suitcase through the crowd. His mind was heavy with deadlines, deals, and the exhausting world of success he had built brick by brick. But then, he saw her. A frail figure sat hunched near the pillar, holding a dented metal bowl. Her clothes were dusty and torn, her hair tangled, her skin pale with hunger. She looked like hundreds of other beggars the city turned invisible to, except Armaan couldn't look away. Something about her face clawed at his memory. He slowed down, his heart pounding. The crowd blurred around him. His suitcase slipped from his grip as realization struck like lightning. It was Meher. The girl who once turned his love into ashes. The same girl who told him he wasn't enough. And now, here she was, knees drawn to her chest, begging for survival. For a long moment, Armaan stood frozen. He could hear the blood rushing in his ears, feel the sting of old wounds reopening. His pride whispered, "Walk away. This is life's justice." She chose wealth, and look where it brought her. But his heart whispered something else. Gathering his breath, he stepped forward. "Meher," his voice cracked. Her head jerked up. Her eyes widened in shock, and for a heartbeat, she looked like the girl he remembered, radiant, confident, untouchable. But the light faded quickly, replaced by shame. She looked down, trying to hide her tears. "Armaan," she whispered. Her voice was thin, almost broken. I never thought you'd see me like this." He crouched beside her, searching her face for answers. "What happened to you?" Her lips trembled. She avoided his eyes, staring instead at the ground. "Life happened, Armaan. My father's business collapsed after fraud allegations, we lost everything. I married a man I thought would save me, but he left me when I was no longer useful to him. I had no family to return to, no home to stand in. And so, here I am." Her words fell like stones, heavy and bitter. Armaan's chest tightened. He remembered the girl who once spoke of dreams filled with luxury, the one who said she couldn't build a life with him because he had nothing. Now, she had even less. A silence stretched between them, filled with the roar of a departing train. People brushed past, throwing coins into her bowl without even glancing at her face. But Armaan saw her, not as a beggar, not as the girl who rejected him, but as a broken soul hanging on to the last threads of dignity. "Why didn't you reach out?" he asked softly. Her eyes glistened. "Reach out to who?" "You. After what I did to you. After the words I said." "No, Armaan. I burned that bridge myself." For the first time in years, he felt the weight of her rejection lift. It wasn't triumph he felt. It was something deeper. A strange mixture of grief and compassion.